Hello viewers, thanks for choosing Property Focus, your window into the world of architecture, building construction and real estate. A woodcutter once decided to build his own motorbike. He used wooden frames, a wooden engine, wood for the brakes and even a wooden gas tank. Did he ride it? No, of course, it wouldn't start. In today's show, you guessed it, it's all about wooden infused houses. It now seems wooden homes are on the rise again. It's simple, soothing, and warm. Today, we have a house that is infused with this natural element and used it into its structure and design. We chat with architect Andrew Gremley as he gives us an insight on the design for this magnificent home. But how do you protect yourself from the ones you don't want harmed and you want to protect in your house? We got security expert from Delta 7 Security to tell us the importance of a good security firm and the trends that have taken shape in this space and how to feel safe within your walls. Last but not least, in our materials segment, we delve into the materials used in this property and so much more. Welcome to the show. Get yourself some cup of tea or coffee. I'm your host, Peter Ngigi. Now, the house we're about to see is well suited as a getaway or permanent residence. The architect designed it to embrace a combination of functionality and practicality. The house is pleasant to live in and combines the advantages of urban comfort and the tranquility of the suburban life. Let's get to know how the project was conceived and achieved with natural materials with architect Andrew Gremley. And welcome to Property Focus, Architect Andrew. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome to the Matasia house.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now tell us, what is your design philosophy as an architect?
Well, an architect really needs to not just visualize the space as it's being designed, but also visualize the activities that are going to be going on in the space. And they really want to bring out the joy in the users and design based on that.
So we're looking at a wooden infused house today. And what was your response to the brief?
The client wanted a house where they could entertain people. And with the different occupants that are in the house, the entertainment of those people has to happen at different levels and in different ways. So one of the ways we responded is to create the 3 different levels that we have in this house to be able to entertain people. Okay. On the ground floor, we've got what we call the man cave. Yeah. And the man cave is where you can feel comfortable getting together with your friends on a very informal basis. Feel a bit grungy. Watch a game, play some games, spill out, have a barbecue on the patio. So there's an outdoor space that goes out onto. Yeah. Then where we're sitting in now, we have the living room, adjacent dining room and kitchen, all open. This is a place where you can have your evening entertainment. You have your friends over for a dinner. And again, the backside, because of the slope, goes out onto a veranda level where you can spill out outside, enjoy the outdoors. And then on the very top level, we have a sort of small family room. This is a place where 1 or 2 people could watch TV and feel comfortable. Now in this particular house, we've designed it in a way that allows you could even have 3 different activities or parties even going on at the same time, where they could be entertaining downstairs on the middle level and someone could be having a quiet sit down on the top level. So the way we looked at it also was from the point of view of privacy. As you're in this house and somebody in your family is entertaining on one level, you can still get away and have that privacy. People don't feel like they're all on top of each other.
And what was your relationship like, or what was your experience designing this house for the client?
Well, the client and I very much saw eye to eye on this whole thing. But as I said, I'm not trying to force a style on the client. I try and listen to the client's needs and their taste as much as possible. I don't have a particular style that I design with. I've done houses in various styles. But what I did was to listen to the needs that they have and their type of family arrangement and tried to respond the best I could to the activities that were going to take place in this house. So I tried to visualize what it was like to have a party. What is it like to have a barbecue with maybe 5 people? What about 20 people? What is it like to have a guest in the house at the same time? How do you achieve that privacy? Yet how do you achieve that social interaction? You don't want loneliness in a house. If that's what I mean by social interaction.
Now, architects are designing houses with sustainability in mind. What's your take on that?
So with our buildings, we try and use as much local materials as possible. We try and use as much sustainable materials as possible. For example, the floors in this house, most of it is either natural, local, Madeira stone for the rustic look, but for the more finished look, we use bamboo flooring. Bamboo is a very sustainable material. It comes from a rapidly renewable resource of bamboo, which grows very quickly. And then we use a lot of the natural stone. This one is from Naivasha, as a facing both inside and outside of the house.
What is the construction cost of this particular house?
This house, I believe, came in at around 35 million shillings. It's 536 square meters. There is nothing that is particularly expensive that we use. There's not much marble or granite. Some of the countertops used in small quantities, but the house is not meant to be very opulent. It's not trying to show off the wealth of the client. It is giving the client a comfortable living situation that works for them.
Andrew, I've got to ask, what sets you apart from other architects?
Well, I try and listen very closely to what the client has to say. And as I was saying before about being able to visualize the actual activities that go on in the space and try and respond to that, because an event can happen that maybe you didn't foresee in advance, but you're trying to bring out the best in the people that are using that space.
As we conclude, any advice you'd like to give architects, or give us your parting shot?
Well, I'd like young architects, for example, I would advise them to open your eyes. There's a lot to see out there. You can use the internet as well, but also look at the world around you and look at how people work and live in that space. See what makes people happy when they go into that space, and see what might even restrict activities from happening, or see what might cause issues with loneliness or privacy within those houses. You need to bring the best out in the users.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have had you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Well, only on Property Focus, we had architect Andrew talk about this magnificent house. Stay tuned. We're going to take a short commercial break, but when we're back, we're going to find out the materials used to build this magnificent house. But how do you protect your house? We've got a security expert from Delta 7 Security to just tell us a little bit more on that. Stay tuned. Welcome to Property Focus.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about yourself and what you do.
My name is Joseph Omalwa. I'm the General Manager for Delta 7 Security Company.
Okay.
By way of training, I'm a former police officer, having served in the police force for 14 years, that is in the CID section. Mm-hmm. After my exit from the police, I had to go the commercial way, having undergone a number of training and workshops while in service until up to where I am.
Right now.
What puts me on the table is my level of input and capacity in terms of security service provision.
Given that you've got a wealth of experience in security, what then is the criteria for a good security company?
Criteria by definition will be about the clear composition of a security company, getting to mean that a security company has to be able to display and provide ability in terms of security provision. That is by manned guarding. K9, that is the dog section. Alarm backup and alarm response. And any other surveillance duties. This goes down to the timing of the response unit, how efficient one is able to effectively reach the destination and get to attend to a particular given situation that may have gotten out of hand either.
What are the common weak points to look out for when building a house in terms of security?
That one will have to be addressed from the very first point of acquiring that piece of land or a plot. One, we will have to look at, you have to assess as in terms of, you have to run a risk probability at the point of acquiring that piece of land. Two, before you get to move to any other level, that is development, maybe you want to do the foundation or ABCD, you have to do a background test and see in terms of vulnerability. How vulnerable are you as an entrepreneur? Number three, or the other point is the point of access control. How much human traffic is into your premises or your project that you want to do. The number of people coming in, how you have to be able to control their activities really counts on what you want to do.
Are there some trends that have accelerated because of this pandemic in terms of security?
Oh yeah, quite a number of them. Tell us. Like previously before COVID-19, we would just look at how smartly you are dressed, then you would gain access. With COVID-19, irrespective of how smartly dressed or expensive you are, we still will require you to wear a mask and wear that mask properly. Number two, you will have to sanitize. Number three, we will have to take temperature control at that entry point. That is how you qualify for access into any of the premises that get to be manned by security. Because previously, before COVID-19, terrorism was our #1 target. Yes. We used to frisk people like turn 360 degrees and see what you are carrying now. We want to see, we are dealing with something that is unseen. So you just have to observe, or rather display the COVID-19 protocols, then that makes you to qualify.
Wonderful, Wamalwa. What would you advise, or what's the best piece of advice you could give somebody who's looking to get a security company?
Security basically is about securing what you have. You can never get to secure what you don't have. And if you have, then it means you have to protect. Yes. So basically, you have to begin by assessing the ability of the company. There has been that misconception of going for the name. But basically, look at how viable, how practical, how able is this company. If then also analyze, or rather put on the table your demand, your situation of demand. If you have, let's say you are looking for manned guarding, you don't have to talk so much about vehicles. See how this company can be able to put qualified, strong-minded and bodied men and women on the ground for your own security.
Brilliant. Give us your parting shot.
On our side as a security company, having made a clear observation of the prevailing circumstances in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had to delve into fumigation, because you begin to see that some of our assignments, rather, we only have sanitizing and fumigation maybe at the entry point, when we have the entire premises not being centered on. So we've had to go an extra mile and in importing our own equipment and having to come up with a new set of dealing with this pandemic by just bringing in our fumigation arm. So getting to mean that if you come to us, you can procure security, we can as well do fumigation at a clear expert level.
And there you have it from Wamalwa on protecting what it is that you love, which is your home and your investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Billboard is up next in Materials Profile, thereafter. Stay tuned.
Have you ever thought of owning a home at the Kenyan coast? What if we told you you could? Pazuri at Vipingo is a master-planned holiday and residential estate strategically located in Vipingo off the Mombasa-Malindi Highway. The estate consists of 372 affordable and luxurious units with a choice of 2, 3 and 4-bedroom villas, and residents enjoy easy access to the amenities of the adjacent world-class Vipingo Ridge. Pazuri at Vipingo is ideal for holiday makers, investors, diplomats and homeowners.
Own a prime plot in Greenstead, Nakuru, an exclusive urban estate along Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, where nature meets tranquility. Text Nakuru to 21404. Hyssop Properties, a culture of trust.
And welcome to Property Focus.
Thank you.
Good, good. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
My name is Arvind Patel. I'm a director of Kilimanjaro Construction. By profession, I studied civil engineering. I joined the company in 1996, January. So for the last 25 years, I've been working in this company. And we are still there in the market.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, we're looking at this wood house. It's a beautiful project. What main materials were used for this particular house?
Basically, we use natural stone in the foundations. Then all the external cladding was done in timber, natural timber. The roof was done in timber. Internally, kitchen was made locally using locally hardwood available timber. And all the doors are also locally available hardwood timber. The floors were of bamboo, bamboo flooring. The roofing also, roof trusses, and the ceiling, TNG ceiling was all locally purchased timber.
Why use wood as opposed to concrete?
The main advantage is cost effective. For someone trying to save money on building a house, timber will be much cheaper than using concrete or any other material. The second is obviously with timber, as we have seen this house, aesthetically it looks more beautiful than just concrete everywhere. It gives it a unique feature. Yeah? And obviously that's the main advantage. The main advantage is cost plus beauty. That we are getting a much aesthetically more beautiful product at a cheaper cost. In addition to that, bamboo is a product which grows faster. I mean, it regenerates faster than any other natural material. So it's not that harmful to the environment as others would be. Yeah.
And how long does the wood cladding last?
Wood cladding, if done properly, can last 8 to 10 years. But that doesn't mean you have to replace it. Because what we do is we have to ensure two things. To get sustainability of the product, use graded timber and timber which is dry. Once you have the finished product done, use a good preservative to treat the timber against ants and other insects. And usually it will last for about 8 to 10 years. And after 8 to 10 years, you don't need to replace it. You just add another coat of preservative on top. And you continue.
So where do you get this wood from?
Most of the timber which we used on this project for the roof and for the external cladding was all locally grown and bought from local traders here in Kenya. The bamboo flooring was imported from China. And all the doors were hardwood, which were again, it was imported from Zaire. Yeah.
And what type of wood was used on the cladding and the roofing?
Okay, for the roof trusses, we used again cypress. For the internal ceiling, we used TNG, cypress TNG, but prime grade.
So basically what it means is prime grade timber does not have any knots in it.
Okay.
So you get a very nice finish, you get a smooth finish, and you don't see the knots which you usually see on timber. So that's a good option for using in a ceiling which is always visible to people in the house. On the cladding and the roofing it was cypress. On the doors and the kitchen was mahogany.
Why use mahogany?
It's a hardwood, so it gives you better sustainability against the sun. It doesn't warp as easily as cypress. That's the advantage. Now on the cladding we can use cypress because you can nail it so that it holds in place and there's less chance of warping. But with a door which is only on hinges, it's just a loose fixture. So if you don't use the right timber, it is bound to warp in the sunlight.
What about heat insulation? Does that come into play?
Timber, in one way, is better in terms of heat insulation than natural stone. To explain that might be a bit difficult, but even if you see other countries where there is extremely harsh weather, most of their log cabins or anything is made out of timber. They try to avoid using cement and all that natural material, all the other material, but they prefer timber because timber is a better insulator of heat and cold. So in this case, even in the heat in the summer, you will not feel it as hot in the house as you would with a concrete slab or any other thing. And in this winter, it will keep it much more warmer than a natural stone or any other material would. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Arvin. Thanks for coming on to Property Focus.
Thank you.
And there you have it from the contractor himself on this natural material wood. Stay tuned. And thank you for being with us from the start of the show to the finish. We never like to say goodbye, but as always, if you want to advertise your property or have more topics, reach out to us on our Property Focus social media pages, and we'll be more than happy having experts discuss this in our upcoming episodes. Reach out to us on Property Focus on Facebook and property_focus_ on Instagram. I've been your host, Peter Ngigi.